Hello everyone, this is Vinny Rodriguez, also known as 8-Figure Vision. I'm here to bring to you the next in our vast book series, guys. It is now featuring the very popular book. Many people have read it. It's called The Art of War. This is by Sun Tzu, or some people say Lao Tzu. He's a Chinese philosopher. The guy has just delivered a tremendous amount of influence on the culture and the society of Japan, especially on the intellectual, on a philosophical, and the military, and an economic level. So here is a compilation of his thoughts in this wonderful book. Now, I'm not sure what version maybe some of you have had. I know a lot of you watching this video have definitely read this book. Right, I'm not sure which version you have, but this version actually features, it's kind of a repeat. It duplicates the text twice. The first time without commentary, and the second time with commentary from the translator. So I was skeptical when I first read this book, because I'm like, oh, it's like the new pop song. Everyone hears the new pop song and everyone all of a sudden jumps onto it and loves the song. I'm like, man, I don't want to read that book. Everyone's listening to it. But for all of you folks that are into just, kind of going with the trends, I decided to do this one for you. So here we go. This is, again, The Art of War by Lao Tzu. So, number one takeaway, guys, this book really puts things into perspective. And when I say that, I mean that more than I probably have ever meant before. This puts it wholeheartedly. It literally puts you in a simulative mindset where you can truly experience the words that he speaks in this book, right? So there are a lot of principles that he speaks of. Right now, what's the general premise of the book? The general premise is war, right? The art of war, having that mindset of war, but approaching it in a strategic and artistic, energetic way. So he goes over some specific aspects of war. For example, laying the plan, right? If you're gonna go in a battle today, right? Now, we're not living in the early 19th or 20th century, but this is something that I kind of look at it like we're at war every single day, right? We're at war with ourselves, we're at war with other people that we don't like, people that we do like, people that we love, right? We're at war every single day. And we're in this constant battle of trying to improve ourselves, of trying to, really find something that is gonna make us victorious. So this book really goes over, that the actual part of war. But this is something that I encourage many of you to look at this book as a means of really looking at maybe a particular part in your life where you're facing a personal battle or you're facing a personal struggle, and being able to apply these same principles, right? Because they're very tactical and they're very strategic. So he goes into laying the plans, right? And then once you lay the plan, you're at war. What do you do when you're at war? What kind of strategies do you implement? What type of energy do you need to sustain while you're at war, right? Looking at it from strong and weak points, right? How do you actually maneuver through? And then different types of situations that you might face and how you would encounter them, how you would overcome them. The last part I thought was really interesting, the use of spies, which is kind of a manipulative thing, but in a way we kind of all have spies in a way. At work, you think about it, someone's always watching you, right? Whether it's your supervisor, your boss, or even someone further, right? We have the IRS as probably the freaking biggest spy, right, that's out there. Freaking Uncle Sam, he's always monitoring your dollars, your taxes, right? Before we even get our paycheck, the IRS is already taxing us, right? So Big Brother's always watching us. So he speaks of the use of spies, right, in a way of actually winning a war, right? So he suggests some things in here, such as, how do you actually approach the enemy. If your object is to crush the enemy, as he says in the book, if your object is to crush the enemy, to storm a city, or to assassinate an individual, it is always necessary to begin by finding out the names of the attendants, the aides de camp, and doorkeepers, and sentries of the general in command. Our spies must be commissioned to ascertain these. So in order to become a spy, you need to have information. That is the purpose of having that, right? Is information. The information is what strengthens you. Some of it you can eliminate, discard, but some of the information is valuable, and that's the information that you seek. And there's different types of spies. You can have local spies, right? These are people that are living in that town. You could have inward spies, people that are, sort of officials of the enemy, like officers, and people that would actually stand at the forefront, and those people are legally spying. Then you have converted spies, people that were once a part of the enemy and have been taken in onto your side, and now they're used for your own purposes. I mean, goodness gracious, guys, this is very intense. Just think about the power that you could apply whether you did something like this at your job. Maybe with your rambunctious, overly curious son, right? The mischievous son that's always like overacting and causing trouble and disobeying. Maybe how do you get him in check, right? Get some spies, get some people to watch him, to follow him, right? Get some people he can trust in, get some people he doesn't like, and have both of those people report to you. And now you have information, now you have knowledge, right, from those people, and you're able to actually control the behavior of your little wild child, right? See, so this is the application of this book. So I really like this. Then there's the 9 situations, right? 9 situations. Basically what he's saying is that the situations are types of grounds that you would operate from. All right, what type of foundation are you operating from? Look at the soil, right? The soil that you're fertilizing, that you're growing. What type of soil is it? How would you describe your foundation, right? Is it a dispersive ground? Right, as the book says here, is it dispersive in the sense that, if it's dispersive, then it's probably not a ground that you want to fight on, right? Because it's too expansive. It's all over the place. You got bushes over here and weeds growing over there, and you got there's no order. So how do you organize? How do you actually maintain a consistent crop? Cultivate a consistent crop when you have inconsistent soil? Very difficult to do that. Now, of course, where would you fight? And this is what oftentimes most people view is something that that Lao Tzu says is desperate ground, right? What is desperate ground, right? Anyone who's desperate is probably the small dog barking, right, just unendlessly. So the desperate ground is a moment where you feel like you have no other hope, you have no other choice, and you just go all at it full force because there is no other alternative. And when that happens, then you're risking your entire life, everything that you have, right? That's desperate ground. Now, there is a time and a place for that. Of course, right? There's a time and place. Sometimes, in a way, I feel every single day I wake up and I have a sense of desperate ground. I feel like every day I have to go at it as if it's my last day. But there are moments in which I take serious ground, as the book mentions here, right? Serious ground which I'm gathering and plunder, I'm masterminding, I'm contemplating, I'm thinking with my people, I'm organizing, gathering data, facts, and information, right? And then once I've gathered enough, then I make the approach towards open ground, right? The open ground is when I have liberty of movement, right? I've done my meditation in the morning, right? Maybe you've written your goals. You've written your goals early in the morning, right? Maybe you've done some journaling. Maybe you did some personal development on your own. And then now what you're doing is you're taking a look at where's your open ground? Where are you going to march, right? So this is the type of strategy. Understand what type of grounds you're operating with. If there's one that you feel that you don't have, I would suggest to you, right, find that type of ground. Make sure that you have all 9 that you're aware and that you control all 9 situations. Think about, right, and I'll switch the subject here, but think about weak points and strong points, right? While you're out there on open ground, or when you're on this contemplative ground that you're taking, right? Ponder. I would encourage you to ponder, you know, what are your weak points and your strong points, right? In the book, he talks about for should the enemy strengthen his van, he will weaken his rear. Should he strengthen his rear, he will weaken his van. Should he strengthen his left, he will weaken his right. Should he strengthen his right, you guessed that he will weaken his left. If he sends reinforcements everywhere, then he will everywhere be weak. You see, it's all strategy, guys. All strategies, right? Where do you feel like you're going too far? You know, too far one way and not the other way. Where you feel like you're angling, you're kind of misguided or misdirected, right? These are the things that, as Lao Tzu mentioned in the book, you know, consider it as water. Think of the ability of water to move and take the shape of any environment that it's in. As long as it consists as water, it's going to adapt to any type of environment it is and flow, right, and actually expand throughout the container that it's in. So are you moving like water? This is actually something that's very well aligned with Kung Fu principles, with traditional Chinese Kung Fu principles, where they speak of the power of being able to replicate and duplicate the dexterity and the fluidity of water. So I'm very surprised. I enjoyed this very much. This